What's going on, guys? Sorry about the mess I got in the garage. I just ran down to the junkyard and picked up this Shortblock. I was just gonna get the parts I needed, which would have been like an oil pan, crank, pistons, pretty much all of the internals. I decided that a Shortblock would be better, so that's what we went ahead and picked up. Right now, I'm just taking off a couple things. Like I took the crank bolt off down there. I've got a pile of new gaskets over there. So we're just gonna get this tore down, get it cleaned up, get it ready for new gaskets. I got new head bolts. We're gonna install those, install the head, get it ready to go, and hopefully by the end of the night, this thing will be put together in the car and running. All right, guys, quick little update for you. I am now back in the shop to do some work on this head because I got my valve springs out. I installed the cylinder head. I went to turn the engine over to see if I had compression and what the compression was without cranking it. And cylinder number 1 had no compression still, which led me to valves because the valves were not holding. And the reason they were not holding is because they are bent. I don't know if I can get this in the camera for you to see. If I spin this, you might be able to see that it'll focus. Might be able to see it if I roll it on the bench here, that it is in fact bent. I don't know if you're going to catch that in the camera or not, but this valve here is an exhaust valve, and it is bent. I don't know if you can see that whenever I rock it around this right here. It is bent right there, so whenever I spin it, if I can keep it to where you can see it, I don't know, it's kind of hard to see over camera, but it is in fact bent, so it was not sealing properly. Same with this valve, it is bent, and as you can see, I mean, if I set them side by side, if I have it set up right, one of these is not straight. This one right here is way bent. It's way out. So what I did is I ran down to the junkyard, and I don't condone doing this. This isn't exactly the best way of doing this. You should get new valves, get a head job done, and go about it that way. But this will work, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove all of my valves, and I'm going to sort them in the corresponding holes they come out of. You always want to keep them in the holes they come out of, especially if you're going to reuse them in this same head. And I'm going to replace certain ones. I'm going to check them all, check and see if they're straight. And I've got valves I pulled out of another head. I'm going to set in here, but I'm going to refinish it first. So I'll show you the process I take to do this. I've done it quite a few times, and it actually works out pretty good. And then you lap it in the hole, and it seats just fine. So I should be good once I get this done, but I couldn't do this at the house. I need the tools here. They're at the shop to do this, so I came back to the shop because this isn't something I could do at the house, like I said. And I will also clean this head up better here. So things to watch for, though, whenever you do this, whenever you pull a valve out, if you got a bent valve, these valve guides that are inside there, watch for those. If they're cracked, you're SOL. There are ways to fix it, but they're more expensive than just to buy another head. I mean, you can buy a brand new head for the same cost. Luckily, I've checked these, they're fine, and I'm not going to have an issue with them. So the way to check these is you get the valve you know is straight, you put it inside this hole, and you kind of walk it around, see if there's any play back and forth, up and down, left and right, anywhere. See if there's any play in it. And I'm going to do that with every single valve I pull out of this. There's 16 valves in this, and that'll tell me if they're all good. I'm probably going to end up getting a new cam seal kit. I'm probably going to end up getting a new valve seal kit because these valve seals that are in here, they typically don't have an issue. They typically seal just fine, but these are kind of hard. I mean, I'm probably just going to get some new ones. So this is the process I'm going to take. I'm going to go ahead and pull all these valves now, get them clean, get them ready to be lapped, and get it going. So let me grab my other valves. I forgot them in my truck, and I'll come back in and start the process. So here are the valves that I got out of the junkyard motor. It's actually the same. I pulled these out of the same head that I got the Shortblock from. So these cost me about $1 a piece at the junkyard. And they are used, they are dirty. They came out super easy. I mean, I literally took the spring off and they just fell out of the hole. which means they are perfectly straight. I'm going to check them still, but they should be perfectly straight. They are dirty, as you can see, but it's not a big deal. So, like I said, these cost me $1 a piece. I got 8 of them. I don't remember how many intake and how many exhaust, but they are different sizes. Not really going to easily mix them up. I checked to make sure they are the exact same size of valves that I am taking out of this one. And I went this way because I'm doing this as cheap as I can. This whole car, it was free to get. I traded for it. And I figure if I can put $200, maybe $250 into this and make this thing run, good for me. I mean, that'd be awesome. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And also these journals here, as you can see, they're kind of nasty. I might hit those with some emery cloth just to kind of clean them up a bit. And same thing on the cap side. I'll probably clean those up a bit. And then I should be good. So what I'm going to do is start taking these valve retainers off. And they got little keepers in there. If you've never seen a keeper, there's these little tiny clips right there. You got 2 of them in there. And actually I got some out. Let me show you. See if I can get these out of here. Most people, you're going to know what these are if you've ever taken a head apart. But for those of you who do not know, this is, if I can get it out. Okay. So this is how a valve would sit in the head. So sitting, like if it was this one right here, it's setting like this. Okay. This seals against the cylinder head on the bottom side. And it's got the spring that goes on the top side like you're seeing here. Spring goes over it, just like that. But then the cap, this is the cap, this goes over it. You always got to make sure you get the cap the right direction. Believe me, I've seen it on wrong. So these are the little tiny keepers I was talking about. These little tiny guys right here. They actually go, if I can clip it for you guys, there's a little edge in there, a little clip. You can see it? Maybe. And one side is tapered and one side's fatter. Actually fits over the valve. If I can get it to sit up there. These things are itty bitty, tiny. And you don't want to lose these. So if you take them out, make sure you keep track of them. So it actually sits in there like this and keeps it in place, keeps your valve in place. So don't lose those when you take them out. Okay, I've got all my valves cleaned. My exhaust valves, intake valves, they're all clean, ready to go. My head is now cleaned up and ready to be installed with the new valve so we can lap them and get them ready. Okay, quick update. Sorry I didn't show more on this. I'm sure I'm going to do this again and I'll show you guys how to do it. So what I did was I took every single valve out, I lapped them all, which what that means is I took each valve, I pressed it out, and I put, where'd it go? A lapping compound. Some of this stuff, it's ancient, but it's lapping compound. What it looks like. It is like really gritty, nasty paste. And what you do with that is you take it and you put it on a valve just like this. If you can see that, I have it around the valve where the valve seats. So you put it around the valve and then you put the valve back in its corresponding spot. And then what I did was I took a drill and I stuck it on the end of it. I attached it lightly, not super tight, and then I spun it. And as I spun it, I washed the valve and I had pressure on it pulling it out, or I guess it'd be pulling it in to make it seat. And I just kept spinning it until I heard the grit go away, and then I'd push it back out, pull it back in and spin it again. And I did that at every single valve. And what I did, or what it did whenever I did that, is it created a finish on there, if I can get it to focus, all the way around. Now it's dull. And same thing with the seat. It's dull all the way around, which means that it has created a seal there. Now I'll put this back in. If I can get it. So put that back in. That goes there. And I went ahead and cleaned up all of this surface. There's no more carbon buildup on any of it. I buffed every single valve before I lapped them, and then I took it over to a hot seat steamer and steamed it. Now I'm putting the springs back on, the retainer clips, and the keepers, and I'm going to reassemble it all and be good, because I'm going to know that it's going to seal now, so I'm going to have compression. So I'm going to get it back together and take it back to the house, get it put on the block. Okay guys, so I'm going to call it a day. We got the head put together, it's ready to go back on the block, and that's going to be the next step. I'm probably going to come back tomorrow and get the motor put back together and maybe in the car, we'll see. But that's going to be it for the day, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, hopefully you learned something from this video, and be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Catch you guys in the next video.